Okay, so when we get to animating here, so what we want to focus on for the body is positional and rotational as well. Everything else is just rotation. Okay, so I'm just going to bring them down here in the bottom left corner. All right, go to my body layer. So I'm going to open it up, and I got my transforms all right here, right? But it's going to get kind of cluttered once I start opening multiple layers. So what I'm going to do is close it back. I'm going to hit P while that layer is selected, so only position pops up. All right, so I bring my time slider to the beginning here. All right, and since everything is set, he's in the right position, time slider's in the right position, I got position value highlighted. I'm going to go ahead and hit this stopwatch right next to position. Now most things have a stopwatch, which means most things can be keyed on this timeline next to it. So when you hit the stopwatch, it turns on your keyframes. When you first hit it, it'll turn on the keyframe here, and then when you hit it again, after you have a couple of keyframes in there, when you hit the stopwatch again, it deletes all those keyframes. Now they don't come back either. If you need a fresh restart, just hit your stopwatch to turn it off and turn it back on. Alright, so frame 1, corner position, hit the stopwatch, I have my first keyframe. Alright, so say I want him to do, let's do a hop and a couple of steps, right? So sort of visualizing how it'll look on the timeline, I'm just going to bring it down to right about here. Okay, and again, we're just focusing on position of the body. Right, I'm going to drag them over here. And then when I scrub through, which is clicking and dragging on the time slider, moving it back and forth to take a look at how it moves. I'm scrubbing. I can see him move across the screen now. Alright, so in order to turn this into a hop, I'm going to place my slider right in between those keyframes right there. Bring them up. And it puts down another keyframe right in between there. So I got 3 now. So the beginning, the ending, and in the middle is the peak of the jump. So go back to scrubbing. He's got something of a hop. Alright, cool. Cool. So that's good. So now let's start working on some of the limbs here. Alright, so I'm going to zoom in so I can get this first position correct. Now I can go through and do each one of these one at a time. That'll work for some people, but a little bit of a faster way of doing it is selecting all the pieces that I want to move, all the pieces I want to rotate. Shift click to add to a selection, and then control click to okay, not this one. Sorry. So shift click to add to selection. Apparently control click doesn't do much. Alright, so I'm going to click all the limbs here. I'm going to hit my hotkey P, so position for each one of these limbs come up. P. Alright, so all the positions are up. All the layers are still selected. So I'm going to hit the stopwatch, and it's automatically going to turn the stopwatch for all the selected ones.
Okay, so that's what I'm
Alright. And then I'm just going to put it into its starting position. Right here, using my rotation tool. Now I have to do this for each one, but after I hit the stopwatch, it automatically records over older keyframes and records new keyframes when you have an empty frame.
So once you select the rotation to deselect?
Yeah, deselect all the layers. Okay, so now I'm just going to start rotating him into something of a hopping or, well, pre-hopping position. All right, show a little bit of anticipation. Alright, he does seem a little high to me. That's fine. Oh, crap. Hold on. Okay, there we go. He does seem a little high, so I'm just going to go back to my selection tool, click on the body. I'm going to lower it, and when I lower it, it automatically updates the keyframe. It's on that frame 1. So I don't have to worry about going back in, hitting the stopwatch, etc., etc. It helps make the process more automatic. All right, any questions so far? Questions? Okay, so at the peak of his jump, you should be definitely fully extended by now, even before then. So I'm going to say right about here. I'm going to go ahead and make some more adjustments to his limbs. Now, again, the limbs that already have the stopwatch on is going to automatically update with a new keyframe. So all I need to do is go into my rotation tool, give him a more of a full extension after his hop there. Alright, then scrub through, see what I got. Uh-oh. Looks like I did something wrong.
I was going to say mine did the same thing.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that's exactly it. So I had my position up instead of rotation, like when it gets my own rule here. So we only rotate the limbs. We don't have no use for position for the limbs here. So I'm going to go ahead and fix this by selecting all the layers, turning off my position, then hitting, I believe it's R. R for rotation. Okay, bring up the rotation by hitting R for all these layers.
Oh, we got to reselect the layer.
Yeah, my mistake. Alright, then we hit stopwatch to turn on rotation. Zoom in, get this beginning position back up. It doesn't have to be perfect. There's always passes you can do after the fact to make adjustments and make it more ideal. Right now we're just trying to get the motion in there. Okay, cool. Got my beginning position in there. So go back to a place where I want him at full extension. Place that in there. Remember, any misclicks, any things you accidentally move out of position, make sure you hit your undo hotkey, which is either Control Z or Command Z. Otherwise, it's going to place down a keyframe, a random keyframe that may cause you trouble later on. All right. So we got our movement here now.
This leg is spinning in the air.
Which leg?
The right leg is spinning all the way around.
Okay. So let's find that in layers. And then let's hit that stopwatch to clear out the keyframes. Let's try to punch it back in. It might be trying to spin it the opposite way that it's supposed to go. It really only happens with huge major spins. So the thing is with keyframes is that in-betweens right here is being calculated. So they're finding the shortest possible route from point A to point B. So you don't have to animate each one of these frames individually.
Unless you just want to. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're that kind of guy, right? With that kind of time. You'd absolutely control over everything. But me neither. So for the rest of us though, like mainly want to work with keyframes here. Alright, so I'll go ahead and start logging in my next position. It's full extension right before the peak of the jump. Right about here, he'll begin to relax. So let's go back in, give him a relaxing position. Kind of getting ready for his landing. Alright. Alright, almost there. Okay, so then right before he hits the ground, check the keyframes to the body. If you need to snap to any particular keyframe on the timeline, you can press and hold shift while scrubbing. It'll snap to that exact keyframe. So you don't have to worry about adding two keyframes right next to each other while trying to eyeball everything. Alright, so let's see. So right before this, he needs to start landing. Right? Actually, going to come and put him. Well, no, maybe about here. Right about here. Use my selection tool. Put him a little lower so that he comes up when he begins to stand up. But even before that, probably right about here, I'm going to place a holding key. Now sometimes you need to place down a keyframe without changing any values, right? It's a specific way to go about that. Specific, but not hard at all. So I want a holding frame for his legs right here, because I don't want them to start moving until this point where he's landing on this imaginary ground down here. So select all his leg parts. Right, I got my time slider in position right before he hits the ground here. Just going to hit this diamond off to the side. It's kind of hard to see on the projector here. That's all I have to do. Alright, so this diamond right here. Now if you're on an empty frame in the timeline here, it should pop up blank, like, let's see, like the positional value for right here. See, it's empty. You place them down just now for the legs, so it's blue. That means there's a keyframe right there. Now if I hit it again, it'll delete the keyframe. Right, so that's one way to delete individual keyframes. You can also just select and hit the delete key. That works as well. And so instead of, also another thing, instead of dragging the time slider, holding down shift, you can use these arrows next to this diamond. Go from one keyframe to another. Okay, so right here I have my holding keyframe, which means it's the same values as the keyframe before, excuse me. So then I'm gonna just move it until he's at the bottom of his jump, bottom of his landing here. Make the adjustments for his feet to land. Maybe even arms too. Alright, then he stands up right about here. To be precise, go to my body layer, find that exact keyframe where he's standing back up. Alright, then move the legs in position. Arms too. All right, cool. All right, cool. Any questions? Again, this is being posted to YouTube. If you need to review anything from this particular session, we'll go ahead and skip the steps for right now. We are kind of running out of time here. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm glad to help out. All right, so the puppeteering projects, everything you got so far, let's go ahead and wrap that up, and then let's place that in the Google Drive.
Like, so
Okay.
this was just a test run for me, the one I submitted. That's the one I showed you, the brown figure, that's the one I submitted. Do I need to do, like,
Well, the idea is just to make sure you got a good
like on.
But it's nothing like the first one I showed you.
Right. I'll take note.
Once you get the, it's understanding them daggone keyframes.
I love
Once you can do the
keyframes.
dominance, once you get the dominance and understand about the dominance, it'll help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not, it's just started kind of clicking. It's not clicking all the way, but I mean, I'm improving.
I wonder if Jordan uses, but he's a little bit.
I'm improving. It's understanding, it's like every time, it's real intricate. So every time you do something, you gotta do it on each diamond. You gotta make sure that you click that diamond or you're gonna miss that keyframe. So I'm like learning that.
Now, it automatically makes a diamond every time you do it.
When I'm positioning automatically, there's a diamond already there, right? The
Yeah, there's a
diamond's
diamond already there.
Once I click on the stopwatch, the diamond comes up automatically. So wherever I place it, and then if I manipulate it, it's gonna put it down.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's just, I think for you, it's just those holding frames that
Yeah.
might be a little bit crucial.
Yeah. But see, why is my guy moving around? Like, you see the blue? Like, I guess that right there. Why is that?
Is it? Yeah, it's correct thing, it's click off. Make sure it's just the down the box.
Yeah, the diamond box. Why is the diamond box?
Yeah, it's just the graphics card, man. I got that, man. You submitted there? You submitted this one?
No, not yet. Are we keeping the name like this or we changing it?
My shot is fast.
I know we are. This gonna be my favorite thing.
Let's go back to your.
Yeah, I don't know why that's right
Control Z. You did have to say it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Alright. And then, alright, so you try it again? How do you share it? It's drag and drop. It's Google Docs. So if you go to share with me, let's go to that class folder again.
Okay, so yes, what do you want the file saved as?
Puppet God, girl. And then it's trying to keep up to date with the version.
Oh no, this was like it auto saved, so I knew I had my phone and just messed up.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so it's called version 2 though.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. So if you haven't already, let's go ahead and grab those 3 pictures in the Google Drive there, and let's import them into After Effects. So drag and drop into your project resource panel off to the left here.
drag it.
Oh, I'm sorry. After you download it, download to desktop, and then you can drag it into After Effects.
Or you can just import it.
Import, yeah, import. Yeah, there's right click, import multiple files.
The seal, the cat, and the crab.
Yeah. Okay, so once you have that up, let's go ahead and make a new composition. Just going to call mine masking and blending. So standard settings, HDTV 1080-24, square pixels, 24 frames per second, 1 minute.
14_mask setting.
Masking and blending.
So we'll open up a completely new file, right?
Composition.
New composition.
Yeah.
So masking, right?
Yeah, masking and blending.
That we're gonna put in the title.
Yeah, yeah.
Masking and blending. Needs an ampersand or A and D.
A and D is fine. Yeah.
Background color gray.
Gray helps. Gray helps. If you can get it 50% gray, that'll work. All right, cool. So once you have your composition up, let's go ahead and drag and drop those images down there to the timeline so we get 3 layers with 3 images. And before we deselect anything, we're going to get these to fit to composition. It's really simple. Right click in our canvas area right here, we come up to transform and fit to comp.
We did what again? For the file import.
Oh, drag and drop. You already have the images in there, right?
Alright, and just save them on. Just drag and drop them. Huh?
Mhm.
Alright.
Yeah.
And And then once you drag and drop and pull it down to the bottom, and then go to transform and fit the comp.
You do what now?
So,
Right now, I just dragging
To
it.
the bottom,
mm-hmm.
to the bottom, down.
Over here on the left?
All the images, and then all the highlights, and then transform, and then fit the comp.
I got to put it in there first.
Ah.
All right, and then after you get them, yeah, right click, canvas panel, transform, fit to comp. It's near the bottom there.
Okay, right click, you say what again? Transform. And
Mm-hmm.
get the comp. I got you.
All right. Cool. All right. Okay, so what we first want to do is let's try to cut this crab out of its background, right? So it might be, no, it's not too tedious. It's not too bad. All right, it involves the pen tool. All right, so you get some more practice with that. So with that layer selected, let's go ahead and let's begin drawing a shape around the crab here. So you're not the shadow, just the crab. Don't worry about the handles too much. I'm just going to use points as they are. Let's see. Probably should go ahead and move that.
So just copy one claw.
Whole crap. Let's ignore the antenna. We got some weird gaps with that. Some- yeah.
Now you can talk about it, man. Oh,
Yeah.
I did something, and I don't know what I did.
Ooh.
Ooh, I got my work cut out for me this semester.
Tell me.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
I don't know.
Mhm.
Okay, what's going to do? Maybe just the panel thing. Hopefully it is workspace at the very top. And then reset default. Reset default to save layout.
This one.
Oh, what's that? Window, workspace, it's coming down. Reset to let's try this. Is that usually the display acceleration signal? Usually pop up.
Because I was like zooming in a couple of times and it did that.
can still,
I was doing stress.
yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, I saw your portfolio, man. You got time after class? Sure. Yeah, cool.
Now, he has a portfolio.
Why you say with so much? Why you say with so much animosity?
Cause I'm a beginner.
And you know what? But guess what? Everybody great started as a beginner.
Right. Okay, so we got to figure out this time.
Did you make this?
But you got this just hanging there.
Yeah.
I love it when she's so happy. You're so happy this month. You're on your way out the door.
Exactly. That's what it is. That's all that is. And she rubbing it in.
You know what it is?
Hey, y'all, this one has some
And by the way, you'll be okay though.
He said I'm happy this semester. You know what? Maybe it's because I'm hearing less. You know, all the time I lose my mind. You know?
And I'm here all the time.
It's okay. Fuck it out. You'll be done soon. Before you even know it. Listen, I'm not talking to you.
I'm gonna go. Since you're so happy this month, I'm gonna bother you.
No, yes, child, I told you. Anytime there's anything I can help you with, I don't mind.
Oh, you look so pretty. I've been seeing you.
You too.
Alright.
Hey,
Is someone hating?
Yep, it's two of them right here.
Oh, yeah.
All I did was laugh.
I'll take the fall. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, it was
No, he going
Y'all
down.
have
It
to
was
hate
me.
this 2020.
I can't help it, man. I can't help it.
They miss you too.
Yeah, that's what that means.
Whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's how you feel?
That's how you feel? Alright.
Right.
I thought he was cool, bro.
So Brad is number
Y'all are so funny.
52. So it's high one.
There we go.
You know what, Mr. Knight?
Okay,
This activity right here, us tracing the crowd, it makes me miss Photoshop where you could just select it, man.
Yeah.
I was like, somebody trying to be lazy over there.
Someone over there trying to finesse, huh?
Yeah.
I want to see what we got. How far along are you?
On the third claw.
Okay, you making some progress. Are you doing it super intricate?
we have to get all of these because some of them are like.
Yeah, some of them kind of blend into the shadow, but
Got loops. Yeah, like the tail, you just sort of make it out. It has like kind of a fish tail. So you make that part out. Right. Ignoring the antenna because it makes a loop there. Don't you worry about that just yet.
somebody already started eating it.
You done ate the claw.
Somebody said, I'm hungry.
Can't let all this hard work go to waste. I might play bumper car after this class.
Finna go to a hole
To release some stress.
Where at?
Stars and Stripes. That's my favorite place.
Where's that?
I go to the one in Alpharetta.
Yo, you know you just disconnected?
Oh, I did?
Yeah, you did. Like you just shut down my side operation.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
No, I'm not
Why do
sure.
they have one extension cord connected to the other?
Let's try to keep them all
Oh my
connected
God.
there.
I'm so sorry.
It's all good, you know? I didn't know either until now. As soon as I seen everything go black, I was like, oh. don't even know if I saved.
Yeah, I'm finna get beat up. It was, but I'm trying to move that one page up to the next
I'm just
one.
talking
I
trash.
didn't know that was a stitching card plug.
I had a lot of, I got.
That is a hazard. This school's gonna kill us one day. I'm gonna move behind here. I'm so sorry. Larry,
No, you didn't see, but I'm not tripping.
I'm gonna talk to my private secretary.
No, there's a plug over here.
I'm getting done, shit extra.
Right. I would really be bomb.
No worries. I think it does an automatic save anyway. I just hope it automatically saved it at that point before Siba wanted to be, you know,
Oh, wait,
a hater.
Mr. Knox, I'm gonna just go ahead and leave. I don't wanna get beat up at the car. I'm just
I ain't gonna be that. Yeah, Professor, you gonna have to escort her outside.
Yeah, you gonna have to walk me
She gonna
outside.
be a bodyguard.
Cause he gonna beat me up.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna send my
I'm
goons
so
out.
sorry. If anything I had in mind is confused.
It's all good. Like, for real, I'm just talking trash. It's just, I'm really not.
No, I
It's
would be
nothing.
teed off, and it's a lot of.
It's a lot of work, but things happen.
I help you with a lot of.
It's okay, Siba. It's all good. I'm totally cool about it. These things, man.
Mr. Knox, this is your fault. You have this.
Somebody gotta take the
What?
point, though. Somebody
I
gotta
did
take
take the credit. It's getting hot over here. I need it. Oh my goodness. I thought it was
Oh.
horrible.
No, you shouldn't. You didn't know. If you did it intentionally, the fact that you feel bad lets me know that
Yes.
you're okay.
Because if that would have happened to me, I probably would have just went
And her face was
home.
like, watch this.
Right, like, get him.
Oh my God.
Talking all that
Now what if I would
trash
say,
last
oops, my bad.
class.
It would have been funny if she was like, "Fuck my bad, what you gonna do about it?"
I would have said everything but
And
my
what?
name.
And it's still loading up, too.
Don't, I'm gonna copy my graphics.
So wait, your computer's still on, though?
Yeah, this one is.
So how come you didn't get turned off, though? How'd I get turned off?
That's why I said this is. That's why I said
So it don't sound like it was on purpose?
it's Mr. Knox's fault.
Oh, I didn't know. Sorry.
How much you trying to do on purpose?
Oh,
The more she talks, the more holes she digs.
that's how you get me back.
Like, I had like 3-4 clicks, and then my whole crap was finito.
I know it's my fault. I'm sorry.
These things happen.
No, what? You know what? God don't like ugly because my stuff messing up.
Is it crashing?
It won't, I don't know what happened.
You might not want that part in there. You see that black? That's not part of the thing. You just get rid of that part.
You sure?
Yeah, because I don't. You
It's
see,
underneath the crab.
what's under that? That looks like shadow.
Like the legs.
That's alright. Yeah, I thought that was crap. Man, you showing me something.
Oh, shoot. Mr.
Wrong computer.
Mm-hmm.
It started a new path.
Oh yeah. So, all right. So if you lose your path, do you still see your line? Okay. So hit backspace to get rid of that point.
Delete.
Backspace. Just backspace. I'm not sure what delete does. It might delete the whole thing.
I'm scared.
Backspace, and then if you click on that last point, right, you should be able to continue from that last point there.
Yeah, it's working.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you so much. I'm almost done.
Okay, awesome.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
Just rub it in.
I'm just gonna sit in the corner. This is why I get for trying to sit by you in class. I don't never get to sit by you. Then when I sit by you, I mess up your whole.
Sabotage me.
I'm so sorry.
See, bro, I'm just joking. It's really not that serious. I'm just playing around. It's not like it's the front one. It's not like I can't do it over again.
But he's still guilt tripping me, right?
Right.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to just do that.
He made me feel even worse.
Man, you got backup over there though. You shouldn't feel bad because you got support. You have a support system.
That's my baby.
That girl
She helped me
power
out so
coming
much in Texagraph. I would have died.
No, you wouldn't believe it. Man.
through. Oh, so that's why y'all sticking.
Man, this was cool. Okay, so
What happened?
my dots and lines are 2 different colors.
Oh, you started a new one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm just complaining about.
And then like I didn't realize that it wasn't gonna connect when I got finished. So that's
Okay, so it's just that yellow area, right?
Is that
Cool. So it's just completely.
Yeah, it's just now starting up. So I'm good.
I'm gonna help you get back to where you were.
I think it did auto save. Like it was doing a whole bunch of auto saving, so it probably automatically did it.
Sorry,
So
sorry.
shut down.
Undo.
I hope so, for my
I
sake.
mean, you did. No, you good. I told you. Straight. I got rooms for that. Look, I got two 12-year-olds and a 13-year-old.
What?
Yeah, they
You
girls.
do?
Yeah, they girls, all girls.
Oh my goodness. That means you was a player then.
I'm not gonna admit to it, but yeah,
I know.
karma's a mofo. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
When you see them girls come out, it just instantly click like, up. That's what it
You
was.
womanizer.
Having daughters will make you change everything. Whole perspective come out. When you see that living thing come out, like it's the most beautiful, disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Like another living creature comes out of another living creature. You like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's life changing, bro. Like it's life changing. You don't see nothing like that.
I think she knows she got a daughter, right?
Oh yeah, daughter and a son.
nah, it's different looking at it come out.
Yes,
It's different when you see
they're
them.
awful. They're awful.
When this ends,
No,
you're like, whoa.
no, I died.
But when I go back to
They act like they my mom.
Really?
Mom,
Yeah.
why you going to the club? You need to be at home with us, watching us. Don't stay out too late, Mom. What is at the club? You got us. I'm like, y'all boring children. I'm like, hey, we got Rugrats.
You might go have some fun.
Right.
Grown folks.
Then when I take her to my mom, I said, Mom, I'll be right back. I'm going right up the street. Mom, she going to the club.
Snitch.
I said, you little rodents. I said, these little rodents telling on me. Mr. Sauce, you left them. My kids do not like for me to go to the club. Mom, what are you drinking? If I buy a bottle of wine, I'm drinking grown-up juice. Why are you always drinking that? And then why are you using our juice to mix it up?
All of that. They won't give you any type of
These little
break.
rodents, you can't have nothing.
They ain't give you no type of break.
Right. I see what my mom was talking about.
You don't never see it till you have it on. You like, this is what they meant.
Yeah.
Laziness.
Listen, look, I just lost my whole freaking picture.
The whole picture?
Like, it's
All types of
here.
problems right now, right?
But it's all, it's like a, when I try to enlarge it.
This thing is still, I done hit open the wrong, I mean, 3 times for it to open up. It's After Effects, and it's still hasn't opened it.
Ah! These are gonna be like second,
Woosah.
what's that word? Second nature. Yeah, it's gonna be like real.
Yeah, that's the idea. Right, no, you got it.
Oh my gosh. I think he's over here working roots on my project.
Ooh.
Yes.
Look, I'm not tapped into the voodoo side of my family. Okay? Not as much as I should be.
Where y'all from? New Orleans?
She from Jamaica. I'm a Yankee.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm a darn Yankee. Shit, I'm pretty.
Oh man.
I learned that I was a darn Yankee being around Caribbean people.
What? I got my crap.
That's what I'm talking about. You got a lot of dots in there too. Like, you
I'm,
You went in on that.
I'm so picky. I can't have half a crab. I gotta have the whole
I got a
crab.
question.
Yeah.
What do you do if it just stops, like, all of them, like, it just stopped on the last one, I can't make no more dots.
Okay, so re-click that last one. Like, wiggle around, make sure you have it clicked, and then try making new dots afterwards. Is it not?
I'm about to try this one. I don't click After Effects 4 times. 4 times. This is what it's giving me right now.
You wanna come to my, oh, your stuff is still running. Did you go to your file to open it up like
Yeah,
that?
that's on my jump drive. It's on my hard drive. I'm good.
Oh, okay,
I'm just
so-
trying to figure out why it's not.
again.
Like, it's not doing nothing over there. Like, it's acting. It's going. I click After Effects multiple times already. It's not doing nothing.
Go up there.
See? After Effects. Yeah.
Position, formation, like the click.
Let go.
Yeah.
And it just disappeared. Like,
Well, I just had to reselect it.
yeah, I really do. But it shouldn't even be taking as long to do that. Like, it's just around my click on it. Don't worry about it. Let me see if this one come up back. This one might even come up. I think I should be open by now. I should be already working on. You know what I'm saying? I should be already working with this stuff that got lost by now.
It's not.
It's not your fault. I don't know anything. I was the eye tracker.
I should have that sort of stuff on. But you didn't know. You had no idea. It is period.
Okay, then. So we good then. So why you ain't opening it?
Bro, at this point, you want to just find a computer? This is just saying.
I'm waiting on this
Just
one
saying.
too. I had to restart another one. I had to restart the other computer.
You're talking about it.
Oh, there we go.
See, I have you.
All that time.
Oh, this password ain't even working.
Oh, you gotta do like ECM. I wonder if it's still gonna come up before I can even log in.
So once we trace the crowd, what we do next?
Oh, sorry, I'm trying to catch up here. All right, so there's some, well, while I'm trying to catch up, there's some properties underneath mask 1, right? Some of you already had to go in there. So we open up the second layer, open up masks, mask 1, open that up. We have mask feather, right? So we can feather the mask. And if you did everything correctly, you got one side connected to the other, you should see your background or the image underneath, right behind it, right? So let's go ahead and play with the mask's feather to get a better edge on that crab there. Right
How do
up,
I do it?
Feather's gonna soften the edge, right?
soften the edge, right,
Yeah.
right. And I'm just gonna go ahead and complete this right quick. Okay, cool.
So I gotta make it bigger too.
You gotta make it bigger. Why bigger?
Oh, I was asking.
Well, no, it should be fine.
So when I click mask feather, I just adjust the settings.
Right. So the pixels, you should have blue numbers next to that. So it looks like mine's look pretty good at 4 pixels.
I bet it's 18. That's
Oh.
too much.
Yeah, because that means it's like a huge blur. I just want something to soften up the edges so it doesn't look like it's cut out with scissors or something like that.
And then once I do it, I leave it alone.
Yeah. So we're going to move on to the next thing here. Maybe 2. 2 is a little better. But yeah, so guys, this is the first mask here. The first way to mask things. So you can also use your shapes next to your pen tool. And so the way you make your mask, either shape or pen tool, is make sure you have it selected, and then you just simply make the shape on that layer. So that could be a bit frustrating once we move on to footage. We're trying to make shapes, and we already have like a video layer selected, and it's going to continue to mask that layer. Keep in mind, there's no way to get that shape off of that layer and into its own layer, right? So let's be careful about that. All right, so this is a crab, right? So this is our masked out crab. Let's move on to our seal. Let's turn that on.
Ain't that the sound I made?
All right, and so what we want to do with this one,
It said my computer screen trying to record. It said After Effects Adobe would like to record this computer screen. Do I hit deny?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Wow. What is it like for like the community or something?
No, it just a box pop up said would like to screen record. I didn't know my computer could do that.
I didn't know Adobe would do that. No. I learned something new. I agree. All right. So with this one, with this seal, we're going to try to use our blend shapes. Try to get him, let's see, and just him on the background here. And if you have a gray background, this should work. But if not, we're going to make things a little darker or a little lighter. And what we want to do with blend shapes is we want to cut out the water and just have the seal in here. So first we've got to bring up the blend shape column. So let's select our either source name or layer name, the top of our layers. Go to columns. Let's hit modes to turn that on. All right, and so within our modes we have the usual blend modes, which is from well, I'm not really sure what the origin of them, but most programs usually have them. So you have your multiplies, you have your screens, dissolves up top, and then your in-betweens, the overlays, soft light, hard light, etc. So this one has a little bit extra near the bottom here. So we have our stencil alpha, stencil lumina, silhouette alpha, silhouette lumina. All right, this is how we mask using blend modes. So our stencil alpha will be for, oh man, it's so confusing because they don't name them intuitively. The thing is, one is the inverse of other. Alpha is for alpha channel, and lumina is luma is for luminance, right? It goes based on luminance. So let's see. Here we go. So stencil lumina. Okay, so it looks like silhouette lumina is for blacks and stencils for the whites. So I'm going to pick one or the other. I don't think it really matters at this point. So I'm going to use stencil lumina. Select my image, then I'm going to go over here to effects. Make sure my first image is selected here. I'm going to type in levels. Let's go ahead and grab the 32-bit levels right underneath auto levels here. Either double click it or drag and drop it onto the layer there. Alright, is anybody familiar with levels from Photoshop? Like just adding contrast to the image. Okay, so in the histogram we have pretty much the same markers as in Photoshop. We have our midtones in the middle, we have our whites at the bottom, we have our darks, the third marker over to the left, right, excuse me. So what I'm trying to do now is brighten up the seal. Excuse me, cut out the seal without the water using my levels here.
Oh, I just love this pen tool.
Which way did you do the stencil?
How's your work coming along?
The seal layer, so one, image one.
The crap is straight. You want me to see your copy ones? You sure? I'm sorry. The other two are easier to do.
So what did you have to do with the seal layer to get that?
So it's on stencil. Let me turn it back to normal. Okay, so as layers on it now, what I'm trying to do is cut out the seal from the water right here. Right, so just drag and drop levels over in the effects and presets panels. Right, and I just started squeezing the markers together. Try to get that maximum contrast.
So you want us to change the color of the seal once we finish tracing it?
Yeah, it'll like it's not deepen, but more contrast. Looking for more contrast. All right.
Use trace.
Trace? No. This is blend mode. No more trace. Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I just jog around for a while.
It's cool. So very top. So whenever like one of those something workspace, and then you can go to reset default to save for the bottom.
This pen?
That's just with levels and window.
Well, I did a contrast and effect, and this was pulled up right here, so I was just messing around with these right here. Is that wrong?
Did you trace the seal?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, we're doing it without tracing. Let's see.
Tracing is just for craft.
Oh, so reset it?
No, we can just go through and
Let's delete the mask. Let's see. No, the mask. So let's open up the drop arrow for that layer.
So delete this?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you
So,
deleted the whole.
yeah, that was just for the crab. So we're gonna cut the water out using a blend nose,
Oh.
specifically the stencil or silhouette.
Like the contrast, like do it by blending out the like doing,
Well, levels. So what is? I'm not sure if auto contrast is functioning enough for it. Yeah, let's get levels from effects and presets. Let's go ahead and get maximum contrast. Let's see. Working.
Well, I'm gonna see how to go back to Instagram over here. I'm down here. I was trying to follow that.
Oh yeah. So this is the search bar. Here.
Why
No, that's what it did. I went to the search bar, typed in level.
Yeah, I'm kind of lost. I ain't gonna lie.
oh, this way.
One underneath all of those. So let's select the seal. Let's take off the thumbnail right here. Cool. And then let's apply it to it that way. So either drag and drop or double click. Whatever you say. Cool. Now squeeze the markers together, get that contrast. Alright.
Yeah, I'm kind of so I put
Did
the.
you see the compost?
What do you mean?
Oh, that's what you're talking about, resizing it. You fit the compost again. Alright, what's the crab looking like, man?
I have already traced it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay. Alright. Let's select all the layers. Let's see what happens. Alright, right click on your canvas.
Right here?
Transform. And then flip the color. Alright. Mask up with it. So we get. Alright, and then right now we got the levels. You got the levels on the seal.
On the seal, yeah.
Alright. And so let's use those markers in the histogram.
It's like it's not there.
You still have the blend node on it?
Yeah.
So I don't need to be invading your space.
Me?
Yeah.
Feel free. You are all set. Don't worry. You have cooties, right?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so you're all set.
She said cool.
I know, I haven't heard that forever.
There it is. The seal's popping up.
It's not popping up.
Yeah, it's that gray smudge there. Yeah, it says smudge. That's your seal. So we'll use
Not Illustrator, more is just
Make it
You
more.
try to make it with it ain't gonna happen.
So how would I
In the sequence.
my nerves, man.
Icon. So we got image, then sequence.
Why?
Let's do everything. Well, that's fine. So let's bring that back down.
Nobody want to get that.
I'm not talking about this. I'm sorry.
Whatever.
That crab looks horrible. I'm kidding.
Okay, let's.
You did it.
This was a check mark.
You made it
Let me
horrible.
help you trace it.
No,
Oh my God.
no, not my
Yes.
tracing. It's just, we're just really just wanting to get an understanding of it.
No, you need a better crab.
And then let's hit that. And then.
Oh, you would know, huh? Since you just got rid of my stuff, you just an expert on what I need. Huh?
Can I delete it all?
No, don't you need to do that.
Oh my God.
I put in a lot of work for this.
That crab is just gonna look so.
It looks worse than the one that I had deleted. It looks way worse than the one that was deleted. I wonder why.
With the seal, so send the other two off.
You know what? God said you forgive and forgive. You are a very grudgeful man.
I don't hold grudges unless I have to. No, I'm just, see, but I'm really just joking. I hope you're not taking that serious.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, yeah.
Can't I fix that crab? It looks
It's
irritating.
not that bad, okay? It's really not. I don't think it's that
Squeeze those markers together.
Look at that. You cut out the claw.
Hold
bad. I didn't finish. No,
on.
I
We're looking
can finish all of
for
that.
contrast.
He back there. He over there just. Oh, you co-sign it, sir.
Essentially.
Me?
I know you ain't co-signing.
It's just been a long day. I'm just ready.
And then, what's it called? You said do something.
Ate all day.
Well, it's a blend mode, so it's stencil is sort
Oh,
of.
straight here.
Yeah.
Count
Before that, there's another step. So
Count money that you can't touch.
Nice
I
cut.
don't wanna drive with
Get in
you on the
trouble.
road.
Well, I'm like 15 minutes away from home.
Ain't good. You want none. You ain't on more.
Mr. Knox, come look at that
So now I'm
chicken.
just trying to plan.
Come look at my fabulous stuff. Don't look at that chicken scratch. I'm kidding.
You such a hater, man.
But I did what you told me to
The
do.
seal? Okay, so cool. Yeah, black seal. Awesome.
That's just beautiful.
Almost.
Well, this is a lot of work I'm putting into this class. Mr. Knox.
It's just started.
It's a little bit, but it's a lot for me.
Man, I need to. And I'm kind of going faster through this than I was the last time because I'm kind of behind, so I'm just. There's
I'm
some points that I
trying
had
to help.
before. I know, I understand that. I get that, and I appreciate the help, but I still gotta get that. I'm still responsible for it. Even though the black is blacked out, I'm still on me.
You know what you want to say.
What? If
You
you
not
messed it
pull
up.
the plug.
Yeah, you did pull the plug. You didn't mean to though. It was all. Oh, I see that.
Ashtray.
Okay, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. So.
that was
I
fine.
need to finish filling that one first. Yeah.
Well,
No. Let's just get to the mask.
Mr. Knox,
Yeah.
you want to line
Right.
up?
So click on mask.
Yeah.
Click that again. Oh. So we go to the feather, right?
Feather, yeah.
Okay.
Just
So I need to click on the time thing.
No,
No,
Just
we're not doing
frames,
it.
so yeah, just pixels there.
Okay.
It's like 2 pixels works out.
2 pixels.
Wow, you over there lighting up like Christmas tree, Mr. Knox. I thought mine was looking better.
So when I take this off, so when I take it off of that, it should just be kind of. All right, I kind of see that.
Cool.
Ah.
Okay, so that's the crap.
Okay.
And for the seal.
For the seal. Seal next. That's the guy right behind. So we're gonna do the same thing with the seal.
No. So let's find levels over there and effects and presets.
How did his crab show up like that?
Okay, and then, well, it depends on what image is underneath it, right? So masking is allowing everything beneath it to show.
All right, I'm in effects and presets. Where I go to now.
So let's type in level at the very top of the search bar. And this will get anything. Alright, so levels, go to levels.
So this one right here.
Underneath auto level.
Oh, auto level.
Underneath.
Oh, this one right here.
Yeah.
That level. Just double click it. Oh, you said 32. So what's going on right there?
So if you select your seal there.
Oh, okay. So
And
let's
then
see
you can
level
go
down and double click it down. And then it pops up over here. Okay, I'm gonna take that off. Okay. So what are you doing now with this guy? Because I
So-
told you put up there.
Yeah, now we want to condense those markers underneath the histogram. Add that contrast.
So wait, these marks right here?
Right above that.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. So So we want some contrast on
Yeah, black seal.
black seal.
Black seal, yeah.
Get them as black as we can without turning the screen black, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Kind of greenish black, but okay, that works. This is a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. Yeah.
In my opinion, the most difficult.
I'm glad we're not doing a crash course in this. You know how they do crash courses? Like, oh, we're gonna do all of this in 6 weeks. Like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Too bad I'm the expert in here.
Expert at shutting people's stuff down.
You see, you're not right at all.
Okay.
I feel so bad.
I know you did. Something to you before.
All right. Once we have our blackish seal here,
Yeah.
right?
That black like that.
Mr.
Yeah.
Potts, can I ask you a quick question? You must have saw that movie.
Which one?
What, that movie I was just
I thought it was odd, dude. No.
because I was saying ashtray.
That one, yeah.
Okay, how come
Yeah.
you got lots of greens in yours? I don't have those same greens in mine. What do you changed this blend mode?
Well, no. Blend mode's off, actually. I got normal down here. So, back in the levels,
Yeah.
mines are gathered up right in between the large, like, goodness,
Okay.
teal, green, blue,
Mine look just like his.
and the other peak colors over here.
I can.
Because I'm wondering, do I gotta manipulate the blues and the greens or something? 'Cause I'm
No,
seeing-
don't touch it. Just change the.
The markers there.
Oh, where it says the inputs and input blacks and whites?
Mhm.
Change those?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Oh, okay, so you have 150. Let me see if I change mine to 150. Check out the cameras. One click camera.
Okay. Nice. All right, so once you have your seal here,
Uh-huh.
right, let's go over here back to effects and presets. Let's type in threshold or thresh or THR, and then we want to grab this CC threshold, the 32-bit version. So if you have your layer selected, you can,
30, you said 32?
yeah.
CC threshold 32. Okay.
So if the layer is selected, you can double click. You can also drag and drop it to the layer you want, or drag and drop to the canvas. It's just a seal there. All right.
Black and white.
Cool. So now we can close out or collapse levels up here in our resource panel, which, by the way, is flipped over to our effects controls. Our resource panel is in the same area, so you can hit the tab, see your resources again, and then effects. It's one tab over. Okay. So underneath threshold, then we're going to play around with this number, this threshold number. So we can try to black out the seal and white out the water, right?
Black out the seal.
Mm-hmm.
White out the water.
Right.
Okay. What about the seal? You mean the seal body, because the face is still going to be kind of.
Yeah, right. So, all right, see you tomorrow. So about 173.2 seems to work.
When I,
Want to be different for everybody.
yeah, because mine is
The number.
Yeah, because they monitor the setting might be different.
I have like black dots in the waters, like
Black-
lower near the seal.
Yeah.
The monitor settings, would that possibly be because of the monitor settings?
No, not the black dots. I mean, it depends on like how you set the levels here. But yeah, it'll probably be a little different than 173. Okay.
I use, I'm Android.
Shut up.
I had to let you know that I'm team Apple. I need to clarify.
That's why you say on my back.
Okay. All right. So once you have this black and white image of pretty much a maximum contrast seal here,
Right.
we want to go back to our project resources panel. All right. Let's re-import the seal. It's another layer. Let's see, image 1. Just drag and drop it right on top.
So drag it on top of the other image.
Yeah, drag it on top of the other seal.
Wait a
Okay,
minute,
so
did it delete my word?
No, you just have two of the same layers.
Oh, I see that. So you drop it on the other seal, like there's another layer? Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, let's refit it to composition.
For the new picture?
Yeah.
Fit to comp. Alright.
We go to transform.
Yep, right click, transform, fit to comp.
Okay, then let's see what we have so far. So let's try out our blend modes. First, we're going to take a look at stencil lumina. So yeah, there's still a little bit of bleeding. I think it might work. Okay. Stencil silhouette. It's a little better.
Different blend mode.
Blend mode. You can
Yeah.
work with blend mode?
So there's stencil or lumina. So what we're trying to do is just cut out the seal using blend modes here. Looks like it might not be enough. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Still a great seal here.
Yeah, I need nothing, something.
Yeah, something ain't right with mine. Ooh,
But my blend mode is black and white.
that black and white
Yeah,
went
for the
away.
seal.
Okay, let's see.
Big color.
Yeah, that's going under it. That's going on top.
Oh, that's
You sure?
the one that you just dragged.
This is the one, that one is on the bottom, right?
That needs to be the top level.
This one needs to be the top.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. So well, who's familiar with blend modes? Right quick. Okay.
With dealing with masking, right?
Well, blend modes in general, how they work. Okay, so blend modes. Let me do that right quick. Kind of breezed over that part. Okay, so blend modes are just a way to blend the top layer into layers underneath there, right? So normal is just regular with the alpha and whatnot. So dissolve, it adds noise to the alpha. Not sure what dancing dissolve is. Darken is a softer version of multiply. Multiply, it adds in all the darks. Anything that's darker than the image underneath it to it. Right? Everything light is ignored, and these are versions of that multiply function. Lighten, screen, which is the main one here, it does the opposite. So it adds in anything that's lighter than the image or footage underneath it. And all these are versions of that in this section. And then overlay, how to describe overlay? I believe it's the colors with the most contrast with the ones underneath it come through. So overlay is really good for adding in like textures or bump maps or something like that onto footage and images underneath that. Difference, these are more utilitarian utility. Blend mode, so difference shows you which pixels are different color and just that, and all the pixels that are same color turn out black. And then these are versions of that. Hues, saturation, color. Not sure what hue is. Saturation, it uses the color of the top layer, that value, and adds to the saturation for the color underneath it. I imagine the rest of these are a certain version of that. But for masking, so stencil, again, It's either stencil takes all the white from one image, and then everything that's black or removes it, or vice versa, and Silhouette does the same thing. Alpha works with, like I just said, Alpha works with the transparency, Lumina works with the brightness of the image. All right. So you can get some pretty cool effects using blend modes. But what we want to focus on is just trying to get this seal, what's the word? Procedurally. Excuse me, guys, it's kind of late. Procedurally masked out. So once this turns into a video, when we start messing with videos, we'll be able to mask out certain figures, certain things that are carefully shot, without having to redraw a mask or color it out every frame. All right, that's
the color one is supposed to be on top, or the one we edit is supposed to be on top.
so. For right now, the one we edit is on top.
Okay. And then we do the which layer blend we doing? Which blend mode?
So taking a look at stencil Lumina. Right, so that's the effect we're shooting for, but we want a little better effect than that. Like,
yeah, mine is completely different than yours. Like my water is blue, but my seal is black except for the face. Like it's got some it's got some of the brown in it.
Mhm.
But it's pretty much like the Silhouette almost, except for my face. I don't
Gotcha.
mean like, and my color, like you see how you got that brown for your water. Mine is completely blue.
it's still blue. All right. What happens if you hit stencil Lumina instead?
That's what I thought I did. That's what I think.
So I'm on Silhouette right now.
All right, yeah, I'm in stencil Lumina. Let me try. Yeah, I'm in stencil Lumina.
Oh, there. So, no, Silhouette Lumina.
Silhouette Lumina.
Yeah, let's try that. Okay.
Okay, it turned the water. My water's black.
Okay. Good. And then most of the seals coming through.
My seal looks a little bit like yours. A
Okay.
little bit. Except for, instead of where you got your white for the whiskers, my whiskers are black.
Really
Yeah.
interesting. Okay. Yeah, they might be cutting those out too. All right, cool. All right, well, let's try to improve this effect here. All right, procedurally, right? So we don't have to draw on every frame. So I'm gonna switch them back around, and then for the layer we made the adjustments on, let's turn that back to normal. Very top. Okay, and then next to our, we have our blend mode, so they're there, right? We can tone those in a little bit more, but a third form of masking here is called the track matte, which is right next to modes here, track matte. So these work a little differently, not intuitively at all.
Wait a minute, you have your seal, your blue, your water, the blue one is on top this time now?
Yeah, switch them back around.
Switch them back.
Right. So the way to tell when they're the same name, in this case, there's an FX next to the seal you made adjustments on. Does everybody see an FX right next there? Any switches? Okay, awesome.
On the one that I manipulated?
Right,
Yeah, I see FX on that one, but it's not one on the regular one.
right, because you made adjustments on that one, yeah. Cool, all right, so track matte. Let's go over here to that drop box, the columns over here. I was going to take a look at, let's see, Lumina matte, there we go.
I don't have it.
Instead of that, Lumina inverted. So if you,
Yeah, I don't have two drops.
Okay, so let's right click on screen name, source name, columns, and let's check modes. And that's where your flip modes and your track maps.
Thank you so much.
Okay, get a track map. Alright, so it's my left. So I right click here. From here.
So layer name, right click on layer name, layer name comes up on here. Columns and then nodes. Okay, and then these are your windows. This is Dropbox for that. And track map is right next to
Oh,
that.
the track map.
Yeah. So that's another way to do the stencil silhouette blending.
Okay, track map.
My track map now showing up for this one.
Got the column one. Those are effects. So
No, like, when you did something where you moved something on top of something else, that's where I
yeah, the threshold. So
yeah, but I was doing this, and you turn it back.
oh yeah, the ordering of the letters.
Oh, that's, yeah, I watched that. So you move
So
it.
we have two seals. So we need one more seal. So it's for the
Control S. Remember Control save y'all word?
What's next?
Oh, it's stuck getting shut down. We kind of information.
Oh, yeah, after that.
What we got? What's up?
So let's go back to the sign in the room. The word.
Save that. Please save that. But you're super cold outside right now.
So let's grab another seal. And then we use that.
Put on top of the other.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the part I missed.
I'm about to say, like, bro, I ain't got time to play
Yeah,
yet.
so right there. If you make it a little bigger, you can see.
I was like, I was thinking, this is
Yeah.
cool. I'm ready to warm up in the morning. I ain't with it.
Cool. So
I gotta go to the supermarket. I'm on the bus. You know what I'm saying? So I have to kind of, and you know, the supermarket like a walking distance from my crib. The bus will drop me off, but I don't take the bus. I gotta walk. I ain't trying to walk in.
and then we're gonna mess with
I can walk in 40.
right?
I can do that.
So I got. We're still trying to cut out that seal there. So
What side of town is St. Lucie?
South,
Well, that's outside. Oh, you asked me.
Wednesday.
Like right off of Black Show Road. Like literally, off of Black Show Road.
That's after school. I'm going to my mom's house, get the babies and stuff. And then I'll pass,
Where your mom's at?
she got off on national. So it takes me like 15 minutes.
Depending on where you going.
no, the
Oh,
column.
the Old National, like, yeah. Cause I
Let's do
did.
the column thing. Let's bring up the column, the
The
windows,
auto.
and track.
In the houses.
Oh, dang.
Layering.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, that's like, wow. Yeah, that ain't that
What
far.
about you staying in the city?
You know what, you know what Walmart is? On 130, like Walmart 138, Shannon Parkway. Is on the street with Shannon Parkway.
Windows, right?
You right, so you up flat shoulders.
I'm right up Flash Show, like, before you get to the,
So that street right there by the movie theater, I can take that street.
So we're
That
gonna be
street
messing with the
right there that
aluminum
leads you to
ones.
flat shoulder, in
Cut out
between
that
close
seal.
flat shoulder. That movie theater,
All right, guys. So we're kind of out of time now.
yeah.
So we'll go get to the cat next class. Books. Who has the books today? Short
I didn't
books.
bring it, I had it though.
I barely
I had it.
paid, I
I
barely
definitely
paid
had it.
tuition. You gotta, I gotta get the book.
You got your book.
I have my book. I
It's
just
on
didn't bring
Amazon.
it. It's
I have
not
a
with
question.
me.
Picture of it.
I have I'm
No, I
sorry.
definitely have.
I have a question. I saw Adobe release like a book for After Effects, but you want us to get that book that's in our syllabus, right?
Right.
I'm gonna buy, give me time, pole.
You gonna do what?
I said, give me time on pole.
Last week.
Yeah, let's go ahead and say it. We're gonna pick that up next class. All right. So we got what, 2 people with books?
Now, do I need to send you a screenshot of my book?
That'll work. It's for a grade, man.
Oh yeah, I'll send it to you
Yeah.
as soon as I get home. I'll send that there. I got it. I ain't playing. I got the book.
Okay.
Ain't no reason for me to not get it.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
The same book as last time.
Which one?
The W book.
After Effects.
After Effects?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you the screen. I'm gonna take a man.
How are y'all saving guys?
Huh?
How's everybody saving?
AEP.
I'll be saving this.
Put on the Put on your external.
So it's for a grade
So,
too?
and email it to yourself. That's back up.
It's in the email, man.
My journal is only Mac.
That's it for class?
It's only Mac.
That's it.
Oh,
No, just bring it for next class.
Y'all people, y'all Macintosh, boy, I tell you.
Yeah,
so bougie. Y'all so bougie.
I hate
We're not bougie.
I can't screenshot.
Okay, maybe a little bit.
Oh my God.
Mr. Knox, you got Mac. That look like a gamer computer you got.
Yeah, Alienware.
Alienware.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah.
ain't playing. Listen, not.
How much that cost? 5,000?
It's up there.
That's one of them computers you can
Yeah,
take over the world.
Oh.
You can take over the world with that computer.